Well, I mean, throughout history, you've always seen these interesting bubbles occur. I mean, the tulip bubble, I believe, was the first one. I remember living through the dot-com bubble in the 2000s that ended up wiping out the business I was in. You know, we saw the real estate bubble come crashing down in 2007. And, you know, now we have Bitcoin and you have NFTs and so forth. Now, at one point, you spoke about Bitcoin. You called it a huge, gigantic scam. You said promoters are perpetuating a massive scam of the highest order on everyone. 85% of the people don't have bad intentions, but 5 or 10% do, and they're trying to scam you. I think it's a huge danger now that people are looking at this as the next great thing. It's a bubble for sure. The next stage, you'll see a real skyrocket. There'll be a short squeeze. It'll even go higher, and eventually it'll come caving in. It's almost a guarantee. But haven't you switched your stance on Bitcoin since then?
Yes, but like I was exactly right. Like I was right and I was wrong. So I almost like if you go back to what I actually said, I said I love blockchain technology. And I think Bitcoin, as I said, most people are not scammers in it, but there's this element of it that is so awful and terrible, which is a fact and was and still is, unfortunately. And Bitcoin did literally get pumped up to, I think, 20,000 and crashed almost the day after I said that. It started this precipitous fall back down to 2,000, and people got fucking destroyed. Right. The mistake I made was I was so negative because there was so much shit. Bitcoin's going to 1 million. I never looked close enough, and this was a mistake, by the way, that I've learned from, at the actual technology behind what Bitcoin was. To me, there was no way, and I think any person in the financial community, except very, very few, would say that, why wouldn't the government shut this down? My thing was never about Bitcoin. It was more about, like, why is the government's going to shut this shit down? Because, like, why do they want a competing currency, right? I think everyone is shocked they did, and if they could go back in time, I'm sure they would. But the cat is out of the bag right now. It's just too late right now, and it's got too many inroads now into the mainstream financial institutions that it's well past the point that you can shut it down. I don't think it would be the right thing to do, nor do I think there's any chance. But look what China did. They did shut it down. So, like, if the U.S. would have taken that route, I would have been right. But again, I'm a pragmatist. Like, I think I change my mind all the time about things based on new information. So I would divide the whole crypto world up into different categories. Yeah, I think Bitcoin right now is very legitimate. Ethereum as well. I believe both over the long term will go much higher. What happens tomorrow, who knows? Okay. But I'm always a long-term investor, but there's still all these shit coins and scams and pump and dumps and rug pulls that I think are still toxic and terrible, and people deserve to go to jail for those. Like I did when I went to jail for a pump and dump, right? People deserve to get their head handed because people are getting taken advantage of all over the world. That's not to say that the technology is not super exciting and that can revolutionize finance, and in many ways is, and that's why I'm involved. But everything I'm involved in is very long term. I'm not looking to, if I buy something, I'm buying it for years. So I believe now that it's mature enough that it's not going to get shut down by enough governments to make it go away. I think it heads much higher.
Right. You actually bought one of the CryptoPunk NFTs not too long ago.
I did. I bought that, and I bought it because I think that over the long term, there's only so many of them, and I think a lot of wealthy people are looking at that as a sort of the gold standard, those in the Bored Apes for whatever reason, and I bought it. And, to me, it was really about also getting involved in the communities and really seeing what was going on with NFTs. I bought a whole bunch of NFTs, and I never launched my own yet. People say, why don't you launch your own NFTs? And the reason I haven't is because I would never do anything that I thought people could lose money on again. So, a lot of these NFT projects, they go up and they go down and everyone gets destroyed. So until I'm sure that, what I do has got a long-term utility to it, I'll be very careful before I launch my own NFT products. Eventually I will, and maybe they won't work, because that's okay. You can be wrong. But before I do anything, I'm going to be very sure that I think, at least in my heart, that this is going to be something that's going to make people money, not just give me more money. I have enough money.
Yeah, I mean, NFTs are interesting. I interviewed, this girl named People Pleaser, who was one of the founders of Pleaser DAO, which is one of the big NFT buying organizations. They bought the Doge NFT. They own a bunch of the Bored Apes. They own Snowden's original NFT and so forth. And it's really interesting because you do have legitimate ones, but the pump and dumps are insane. There was like this porn girl named Lana Rhodes who started this, like, she even said, I think this is a great investment for my fans. And they raised like $1.5 million in NFT, and then she pulled all the money out and then shut down all her accounts. And then I'm not even sure if that's illegal. You see what I'm saying? Like,
it's illegal, and she might go to jail for that. I don't know. I don't think that, at the end of the day, I don't think someone like that, just because of the resources involved to chase everyone, I don't think those people go to jail. I think the people right now, the influencers that are doing this again and again and again, I think some of those are going to be in for a hurt in the next year or two, because, just because you don't hear anyone getting arrested right now, the wheels of justice grind slowly. I got arrested 5 years after I was done with Wall Street. So, like, you think you got away with it, and suddenly, boom, they're at your door knocking.